This device has got 2 deck control and an onboard step sequencer with drum samples from the greatest drum machines ever. We're taking a look at the Roland DJ-202. It's a 2-channel controller that ships with a copy of Serato DJ Pro, and it's the entry-level model in Roland's line of controllers for Serato that includes the DJ-505 and the flagship DJ-808, which we've already reviewed, and I've got the link to that below. I'm gonna give you an overview of this unit as well as its pattern sequencer feature, and if you'd like to find out more about it, I've got a more detailed review over on the Digital DJ Tips site. The link is also in the description box, so go ahead and check it out after you're done watching this video. Now, let's get to that overview. The DJ-202 has 2 decks, and each deck has a jog wheel, performance pads, transport controls, an effects section, and deck select buttons. It has a 2-channel mixer with trim pots, 3-band EQs, and filter knobs per channel. It's similar in size and layout to the Pioneer DJ SB2. The Roland adds in a few unique twists. There's a built-in sampler and pattern sequencer that's got sounds from Roland's legendary drum kits, plus onboard vocal effects. I think the build quality is decent. The jog wheels are weighted and have a nice fight to them, which will please DJs who prefer stiffer jogs, like me. And there are deck select buttons for controlling decks 3 and 4 in Serato DJ Pro, which are nice additions. The performance pads feel a bit too stiff though, making hot cue juggling and speedy finger drumming that much harder, which is something that may potentially turn off some DJs who want to get this controller specifically for those performance purposes. However, if you don't care much for pad drumming, it's not a deal breaker. The front of the unit has a 1/4-inch jack for plugging in your headphones, and the rear has a USB jack for connecting to your laptop, a MIDI out port for connecting to other MIDI-enabled gear such as those found in Roland's IRA line of synths and drum machines, RCA master output jacks, and a 1/4-inch mic input with a level knob. Okay, so let's get to the pattern sequencer, which is the biggest feature of the DJ-202. If you're interested in this device, do you plan on using it to sequence stuff live? Give me a like if you do, and let me know in the comments what music you plan on mixing. I'd love to know. Okay, so the Roland DJ-202 comes with sounds from 4 of Roland's electronic drum kits, the TR-808, 707, 606, and 909. These are legendary drum sounds that have been used in countless dance, pop, and hip-hop records, and you still hear them a lot today. Those sounds are built into the unit, and that's both good and bad. Good because you don't need to install any extra software just to access the sounds, and you don't need to mess with Serato DJ Sampler just to use them, though you still can use Serato Sampler via the Sampler Performance Pad function. It's bad though because that means you're kinda locked into using whatever controls are found on the DJ-202 to trigger, edit, save, and play back those drum samples and patterns. Now, this is easier to do with the higher-end DJ-808 and 505 because they've got dedicated controls for the sequencers such as the 16-step buttons for each of the steps in the pattern sequencer. The top-shelf DJ-808 even has volume faders for the kick, snare, and hi-hats. And while you can do the sample triggering and pattern sequencing on the DJ-202, just as you would on the 505 and 808 in theory, the overall experience isn't as fluid or intuitive and can sometimes be frustrating in practice, especially for new DJs. For example, instead of simply selecting a drum sound and pressing step sequencer buttons on the 808 or 505, you have to do quite a bit of shift button pressing in combination with the pattern button in the performance pads. And this is because the pads themselves do double and even triple duty as the drum kit selector, the drum sound selector, and the pattern editor. And it can be a bit confusing, especially in the heat of a mixed performance, so it does take some getting used to if you want to do this type of live performance effectively. Thankfully, triggering patterns that you've saved isn't as much of a head-scratcher. They even launch in a quantized manner if you want to, so you're always on beat. Plus, you have the option of syncing them to the master tempo in Serato DJ Pro, letting you mix it in with a tune that you've got playing. Overall, the DJ-202 is a decent offering from Roland, though it does feel that the more advanced features feel a bit shoehorned into the unit. The pattern sequencer is an elegant live performance solution on the DJ-808 and DJ-505, but here on the DJ-202, it feels a bit clunky at first, though it's entirely usable for more basic pattern sequencing. The good news is that the DJ-202 gets all of the DJ controller basics right. The jog wheels are responsive and feel great, the knobs and buttons feel solid, and you have an assortment of performance pad functions that will power you through just about any gig that you're likely to encounter. If you're in the market for a DJ controller that has some sequencing functions, but you're on a tight budget, the DJ-202 should be on your shortlist, though you may want to consider saving up a little bit more to get at least a DJ-505, which makes sequencing a more intuitive affair. So that's it for the short talk through of the DJ-202 from Roland. Again, I've got a full review of it over on the Digital DJ Tips site. The link is in the description box below. Hit the thumbs up and like buttons and share this with your friends and even your online enemies. My name is Joey. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you next time.